Today's story, hopefully it's not too windy for you, but I've stopped here because I wanted to get out of the house, and I've stopped here because hopefully you can see the sunset behind me is looking really nice. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, so it's just starting to settle. The sun's going down, and I've just passed it and I thought I'm going to stop here. I'm going to read you a quick story. So this one is a little bit different to some of my normal stories. This is called The Grumpy Old Gits Guide to Life. This is one that my children have got me, and I think some of it is quite relevant. Money matters. Why is it called a helpline when they never help? It's a known fact that insurance policies only cover you for things that are never likely to happen. You'll be handsomely protected in the event of being struck by a meteorite or attacked by a rampaging hippopotamus, providing you weren't away from home for longer than 30 days in any given 6-month period. But try getting your money back if your garden fence blows down during a storm. No chance. So most of us never bother to claim. We just carry on paying the premiums year after year on the off chance that we might bump into a hippo outside the library. But occasionally you may think you have a valid claim, and so you call the customer helpline. This is the point at which a young lady politely informs you that, no surprise, surprise, you are not covered. Because Section 48, Clause 12F of your policy clearly states that in order to be covered for that particular eventuality, you must be under 60 and a Scorpio. Then she says breezily, "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" What does she mean, anything else? She hasn't helped you with the one thing you rang about. But do you tell her that? No. You thank her for her help and then grumble about it for the next hour to your long-suffering wife. It's what makes a marriage. If for any reason you suddenly have a larger than usual amount of money in your current account, possibly because you're waiting to transfer it to a savings account elsewhere, you can guarantee that you will very quickly receive a courtesy call from a bank. The money-grabbing antenna of somebody in the head office have tuned into the fact that there's extra cash in your account, and the bank wants to get its hands on it. So why are you calling, you ask? It's just a courtesy call, sir. You're not trying to sell me anything, I hope. No, sir, just a courtesy call. I just wanted to say how well you seem to be managing your finances, how nice your garden's been looking lately, and how young you look for your age. Thank you. Well, if that's all, then good, but actually, sir, there was one thing. Oh, yes? I notice you have a little more money than usual in your account and wonder whether you would like to book an appointment with one of our financial advisors. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your bank had to be rescued by the taxpayer 3 years ago and nearly went bankrupt, whereas, by your own admission, I manage my finances quite well. So why should I want to help from one of your advisors? If, however, you would like to book an appointment for me to give you financial advice, I'm free next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. My rates are very reasonable. Can someone explain why a cheque paid into your bank account can take at least 5 days to clear? And these aren't just ordinary days, but working days. So weekends, bank holidays and afternoons, when there's a big football match on the TV, are not included. You could walk from London to Paris in 5 days. You could fly around the world in that time and still have 2 days to spare. You could watch 240 episodes of The Simpsons in the same period, but banks apparently need longer than that to give your cheque the go-ahead. They claim the delay is to allow security checks, but in that time you could strip search everyone you know. Of course, it could be just an excuse to earn interest in transit in your money. But surely nobody would ever think banks could behave in an underhand, unscrupulous manner. You decide to pop into the bank to pay in the cheque. You wait outside. "I'll only be a minute," you tell your partner, with an optimism which proves that all your years on earth have taught you nothing. 15 minutes later, she peers through the window to see that you have moved forward approximately 9 inches, and that's only through fidgeting and a desire to kick the person in front. But because you are stuck in a queue behind 4 people, including one who wants to open 3 different accounts for her grandson, and another who's clearly never been in a bank before, after much agonising over whether to stay or not, you decide to see it through to the bitter end, knowing full well that were you to leave, the queue would mysteriously evaporate in an instant. Besides, there's no certainty that it will be quieter at any other time, particularly now that the branch only opens 3 days a week, owing to restructuring, or in plain English, cutbacks. Finally, you reach the front of the queue, but just as you're about to step forward, the position closed. Sign goes up at the window. Ah! Why do banks offer only loans to people who don't want them? All your life you struggled to make ends meet while raising a family, and you could really have done with a helping hand from the bank. But when you approached your friendly bank manager for a loan, he made you feel about as welcome as a mouse head in a meat pie. But now that the kids have left home and you've finally got a bit of financial stability with some money in your account, your bank suddenly falls over itself to offer you money. Hardly a month goes by without a fresh offer of a loan or a platinum credit card at generous rates, although it doesn't specify whether the rates are generous to you or to the bank, because you are apparently a valued customer. So were you a valued customer in 1985, when the bank manager laughed in your face when you asked him for a loan? Or in 1989, when he said someone whose only security was Lucky Linda at the 2:30 at Belmont Park was a safer financial risk than you? Or in 1994, when he threatened to bury your head in his pot plant if you didn't get out of his office? With a rise in instances of computer fraud, internet security is clearly of paramount importance, which explains why it must be easier to break into Fort Knox than it is to access your online account. There are so many things to remember: your user ID number, your password or security number, your date of birth, plus your memorable word, which could be anything from your mother's maiden name or your first make of car to your first non-metallic element. And of course, you're not allowed to write any of them down, which presents something of a problem, and you've reached an age where you struggle to remember what day it is, what's the name of the woman you've lived with for the past 40 years. If you can't think of a memorable word, they will offer helpful suggestions, such as the name of your favourite author or your favourite band, and those can change from year to year. You might have really liked Coldplay in 2009, but by 2010 you thought you'd gone off the boil and preferred Kings of Leon. What happens when your memorable word goes out of fashion? So I know that was quite a quick story. I really like this book. My children found it quite amusing when they got that for me. But I must admit, it's really cold out at the moment. I should have put a coat on. But I hope you enjoy the quick story. I normally say please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just give us a quick thumbs up. And I hope you enjoyed the sunset that's behind me at the moment. Thanks for joining me today.